Hello,
Hi,
David, it's Mark.
hi, can you hear me, Mark?
Yeah, I can hear you. Sorry for the delay.
Oh, I was just getting ready to send an email to everybody.
Yeah, no, I get delayed and then some little trouble getting on here.
Okay, all right,
Hi, guys.
get there. This is a
Jenny.
distinct improvement.
Good evening.
Hello.
Hi, everybody.
Or
Hi,
a
Jimmy.
stinky group, one way or another.
Jamie, this is Dave Benjamin. David, stick your head over here so you can, this is our chair, David Dow. Well, I think you maybe said you had met a long time ago.
I haven't seen Mr. Dow since I was 12 years old, so
Okay, well, he's changed it, so have you.
I look the same.
yeah, I was gonna say you look the same. I think that's the first time I ever saw the book The Hobbit was at Mr. Dow's house.
There you go.
So it's probably still there.
Thank you for being patient and sticking with us tonight.
Don't worry, Mark runs our fantasy.
That's when the refurbished cannon was first put into State Fort Park.
Okay, Marcus, I guess we're ready to start, yes?
Yeah, you guys are ready to go.
All right,
I'm just
so-
here to listen.
All right, great.
Okay,
Turn it over to David. I'm gonna
okay,
move the camera just a little bit for you, David.
okay. We're at our April 1st State Fort Park Advisory Committee meeting by Zoom. And a few problems again, so to be expected. Hope all of you have some patience and we'll get through this thing okay. We have a little bit to go through, but the first thing I have to do is read a paragraph that makes this a legal deal. And it announces that this meeting is being recorded by video and audio in accordance with the state open meeting law, consistent with the governor's orders suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law and banning gatherings of more than 10 people. This meeting will be conducted by remote participation. The public may not physically attend this meeting, but every effort will be made to allow the public to view and listen to the meeting in real time. Persons who wish to do so are invited to view the meeting, and you have the information that was on the posting. If you're calling in on a phone, you can press 9 to request to speak. If you are watching on a computer or a device, there is a raise hand button that you can tap or press to request to speak. Please use either of these options to be recognized to speak. So having read that, thank you all for coming, spending the time to do this tonight. So we have to go through a roll call first, and I will do that next. So just announce that you are present. The first person will be Craig Anderson. Greg, are you here?
Don't see him.
David Benjamin is here.
Present.
David Dow, present. Bill Frontville.
Don't
No.
see him.
Fred Geisel.
Here.
I just saw you, Fred.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm right above you.
Michael Hale. Steve Cady. Steve
He's
is
here. He's muted though.
I see you, Steve.
Steve's Present.
Present. Jamie Marshall,
Present.
present. John McCarthy is no longer on the committee. Donna Polizia,
Present.
thank you. Barry Pett.
Present.
Okay, so we also to welcome Barry Pett and Jamie Marshall as new members of our committee. So
Welcome.
Welcome.
Welcome. Welcome to
we move on for the secretary's report.
And this is the same. This is the same secretary's report that was issued in preparation for last month's meeting. And it's the report of the March 5th meeting in 2020. And I hope everybody's had a chance to take a look at it, and I would entertain a motion to accept.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
So that was,
Aye.
who was the second? Fred?
Excuse me, David, you need to do this by roll call. All votes have to be taken by roll
I'll
call.
do this by roll call. Okay, you're right.
Oh, okay. Well, we haven't voted yet. I was just asking who was the second.
Barry.
Steve Katie, second.
Oh,
wait a
Steve,
minute.
Steve,
Hang on.
okay, Steve, did. Okay, Barry.
Give me 1 second here. So Polizia was first, and then the second was who?
Steve
Katie or
Katie.
Pat?
Steve
One of the
Katie.
other?
Steve Katie.
Katie, okay. Sorry. Okay, now could we ask for a roll call, please?
Yes, Craig Anderson,
Absent.
David Benjamin,
Yes.
David Dow, yes. William Frontville, no. Fred Geisel,
Pass. I wasn't at the meeting, so I
Mhm.
can't effectively vote.
Michael Hale, Steve Katie,
I actually can't second or vote because I wasn't at that last meeting.
okay, Jamie Marshall. Was
I'm
not,
new to the, I'm new, so
Donna Polizia,
Aye.
yes.
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 Barry Pett,
And again, I wasn't at that last meeting.
okay. So the secretary's report has been read and accepted.
And then public comments.
Public comments. Is there anyone from the public that would like to speak? I don't know where we see that, David.
You'd see it up here, and we don't see anybody from the public here.
There is on the
Unless somebody's
attendee,
called in.
just has Craig Anderson with his hand up.
Well,
Oh, is Craig
I've,
here?
I've
Craig,
been
you
here.
here?
but I've been having some technical issues, but I'm here.
Yeah, you
Okay,
see it.
Craig.
Ask him if he'd like to vote on the,
Would you like to vote on accepting the minutes of the meeting from back in
Yes.
fortnight? Yes?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So Craig is here
good.
for the night. Thank you. So the secretary's report is completed?
Passed, yeah, and now
Yes,
no public comments.
no public comments. Old business, board area restoration. Where are we with the restoration? As you know, we did receive the request for the survey and the detailed construction plan. And Beta was hired. Beta has received an invoice to get started. To the extent to what work they have done so far, I do not know, but they are working on their preliminary plan, which includes a survey. And I do not have a timeline on when that will be finished. But they are working on it, and that is moving forward. So does anyone have any questions regarding Beta?
I do, Mr. Chairman.
Go ahead, Barry.
Yes, just if you would you ask them to get in touch with me, not from my city council standpoint, but just from the fireworks standpoint, just because as we've discussed in previous meetings some time, ago, a couple of years ago or whatever, the Cannon Fort is the only approved fireworks site in the city for fireworks from the state fire marshal's office. And whatever happens to the restoration, some of that may be affected, may affect whether we're able to continue to have fireworks or not. And I know the intention is not to, prevent that from happening, but without some input, which I'd be happy to give to them as they move the process along. I'm not sure how they would be able to come up with a design that might not, for some inadvertent reason, preclude us from continuing to do that for the city. So if you could give them, you can give them my city council email or my, my Verizon email, either one. And I'd be happy to go over things with them or answer any questions as they go along.
Okay, will do. Anyone else?
Mark was gonna give us an update.
Mark, would you going to give us an update on the city's end of this with Beta?
There's no further update than what you have, Dave.
Okay,
I'll talk with Mike and try to get a timeline from Beta, but I haven't received anything yet.
okay. Well, there's a little more here regarding the landscape work, if you will. So to refresh everybody's memory, in 2020, April of 2020, we submitted 2 applications. We did it in 2 stages or 2 applications at the request of the CPC committee. The first one was asking for $80,000 to do the construction planning and survey. We were actually awarded $74,500 because that's all that they had in the interim plan. The State Fort Park revolving fund has money into it, so we could get back to the $80,000 if for some reason they needed that for the thing. But here's the issue at hand. The interim funding was given to us to jumpstart that program so we could start the real-time construction in time for 2023. So we received an okay to do the $74,500. By the time that money went through the process of approval and funding and all that sort of thing, we're all the way up to January, February of this year. So now the CPC is looking at our request for $800,000 for construction. But since we didn't have the preliminary plan done, obviously they did not approve of that. So they did not fund us. So that application is finished. There's nothing going to happen with that application here. So we're now faced with a new application, which would be, it can't be filed for this year because those applications are already past due. Now that we couldn't file if we didn't have the construction plan. So we don't currently have an application on file with the CPC. It's dead in the water. They didn't fund it. So if you think ahead of this now, we now can't file that application until 2022. Obviously, there'll be no, and the money wouldn't be awarded until after the 2023 summer has gone by. So we're not going to get that work done as it stands right now. So the only way out of this we have now is if the construction plan gets finished by Beta, we can apply for another interim funding for the $800,000 to get us, and that could get us up and running in time to get the work done. But without that money and without that coming up pretty soon, there'll be no work done on the landscape of the 2 pathways or the fort itself. It's what we've been afraid of right along. And just because of the way things happen, it's not anyone's particular fault, but the money just is not there yet. And please be aware that even if we can get the interim funding, there's no guarantee it's going to be 800,000 or whatever estimate Beta might come up with if they change it. So in conversations with Mike Hale, if we were to get the money, he was fairly confident, or just plain confident, that we would still get the construction done. So we have to now ask the city council and others to look into this a little bit. And my job, I think, as chair, and I think it's our job as a committee to advise the council that this is where we are because of this funding issue. So with your permission, now if we have to have a vote on this, we can, but with your permission, I think we would take the minutes of tonight's meeting pertaining to this construction funding, and we will send it along to the mayor, who will include it in the councilor's packet for their next regular meeting. So that lets everybody know up front where we are right now with the funding. I don't think I've made any mistakes, but if somebody wants to correct me, or if David, you got any comments?
Could you clarify that what you're speaking towards is us finishing the project by the anniversary date of, was it 2023?
Three, yeah.
Yeah.
We
That's
won't-
the target that David's speaking about.
We won't meet that target. So, that's
Mr.
where we
Chair?
are with that. It's just not going to be there. And, like I said, I'm not throwing anybody under the bus here. It's just, if you just take the interim funding, that was filed in April 15th, I think, of 2020. Here we are, end of March, and that money is just getting to be used right now. So I guess that's the way the cookie crumbles. Anyone like to make any comments on that?
Yeah,
If you
Mr. Chairman.
like, I'll go along through the roll call here. If you like. Craig, do you have any comments on that?
No, not at the moment.
Okay, David Benjamin.
I would agree to be communicating with the city council.
Okay, Bill Fonville was not here. Fred Geisel. Fred, your comments, please?
Yeah, I would agree with what David Benjamin said. I think we should alert the city council, the mayor's office, that we need to seek other sources of funding for the construction. And that, maybe we should get a time frame from Beta, is when they would have the design completed. If they're just doing the survey now, and it may be middle of summer by the time they actually have a design well underway, enough to be able to make estimates for construction costs.
Okay,
And be able to get that information to the city council as quickly as possible. It becomes, since there's no other source of funding, this becomes a capital improvement project that the city could consider in its budget.
okay, thank you, Fred. Steve Katie, Steve, do you have any comments?
I also agree with David and Fred that we should alert the city council about it. It's just an unfortunate situation, and there's nothing we're going to be able to do about it other than moving forward and looking for other means of funding.
Okay, thank you. Jamie Marshall. Any comments?
He's muted.
Yep,
Jamie.
just been on mute. Yep, just so I don't sound like I'm repeating the others, I'm in full agreement that I would bring it to the mayor's attention and the city council, and just bring as many details as you can. I agree with what Fred had said, go to Beta and get as many details out in front, and just try to direct and guide as much as we can. So I'm in agreement.
Thank you. Donna,
Yeah, I also agree. Aren't they doing the budget now? Isn't this budget time? This is the time to get them the information. We want to get any money from them.
okay. All right, good point. Barry Pett,
Okay, as the council representative here, obviously the council needs to be aware of the funding shortages, and the this commission is, a function of the administration, not of the council itself. Although the funding would, be approved by the council. And I would definitely think that you should forward it to the administration, but I would say you should do that through Mark and Mike Hale, through, the DPW side of the house, whose committee this is, and forward it on to not only the mayor's office, to the administration, but also to the council to make us aware. Again, the city, the administration is working on its budget as we speak, as Donna said. And I don't know how they would be able to find these types of funds at this type of time frame, but I'm sure they would, if they're doing so before it even comes to the council, that they would be checking with Mark and Mike about that. So I would have that discussion, with both Mark and Mike. And then I would recommend, again, that you forward it to both the administration, the mayor's office, and also to the council through Council President LeBlanc.
Okay, thank you, Barry. I can respond to that a little bit. From my understanding, Barry, forwarding it to the mayor's office, she makes up a packet, which then gets sent out to each council member. So the thinking was that each council would get this packet from the mayor, and obviously the mayor would know what has happened, sending her the packet.
Yep, that's
So
correct.
That will cover us on both bases, but I think Mark Cole did mention that he will try to get to Mike. And Mike is aware that we have this thing going on. So whether we can get the funding earlier or it comes from another source, I don't know. But my main concern is that we're above board with this and everybody knows where we are. And maybe this isn't going to get done until 2024 or whatever. So that's the place we are as far as the landscaping goes. So without any further questions, I can talk a little bit about the cannons themselves. So the cannon that Steam Cannon did is obviously still stored in Essex in a container. I see it fairly often. It's dry, it's safe, and it looks just fine. My own personal opinion is the sooner we can get it out of there and fire it, the better off we'll be, and it'll be a little bit of fun. One of the Constitution cannons, the carriage that I'm making, is well along its way. The sides of that cannon, as you know how they've been built up, are complete. The axle trees, as they're called, they're really axles, have been built, and they're sitting under each side. I'm currently building the trucks, the wheels, if you will, for the cannons to sit on. So the next step in that process is that since the cannon carriage is at my house in the shop, and the cannon barrel itself is in Essex, some time has been wasted going back and forth to make measurements and be sure that I'm right. Being that I would be pretty embarrassed if we went over there to put it together and some people were there to see it and the cannon didn't fit the carriage. So the baby would be too big. So I'm going to sort of do some trial fits over there. And then we'll put the whole thing together. And then on a given day, we'll get the barrel out of there, set it on the carriage, and whatever the city and we might decide or try to do, that will take care of the 2 cannons, and we'll then build the 3rd one. The 3rd one should go pretty quickly since it's an exact copy. It's been cleaned inside and out. It looks great. So the next step with the cannons themselves is to receive the necessary licensing to fire that. It's kind of a process you have to go through with the state. It's governed by the state fire safety people in Stowe. I've been talking to them quite a lot. We can probably have a couple people, David, one, myself, and another fellow in town, will all get tested so that we'll have more than one person that can fire the cannon. All the tools and so forth that go with firing that cannon, we have. We have gunpowder, we have igniters, we have everything we need. So we're pretty much up with that. The only sticky part is getting the test done, and it looks like that can be the first part of June. And whoever knows or might want to guess whether we can fire the cannon because of COVID. There is a lot of people problems there with crowd control, but we'll just have to see that as it may be. And that will take care of the cannon barrel. So any questions on the cannon itself or that work? I can go through the roll again if you'd like, Craig.
Nothing currently.
Okay, David Benjamin.
No questions.
David, by the way, helped me paint it. If we had some issues getting all the old paint off, but we got it all off, and David helped me paint it. It really looks good. Bill Fred Geisel. Fred.
No questions.
Okay. Michael Hale. Steve Cady.
No questions.
No questions. Jamie Marshall.
Only questions, it'd be fun to be able to fire that thing, so let me know how to get tested.
Okay, we can do that.
Ah,
Massachusetts is pretty strict on this stuff. Most states, other people tell me they just go out and fire it, but not Massachusetts. The fire department, the police department, everybody has a hand in the battle on that one. So Donna.
No questions.
All right, Barry.
Yes, couple of things, Mr. Chairman. First of all, great work on the first cannon. And I did get to see you do the little, I want to say, demonstration down at the Harbor Master's office, and it's really wonderful to see it. 2 things. Yes, the state fire marshal does regulate things there, and I'm happy to help if in any way. I've always had a connection with the state, a number of connections with the state fire marshal's office, and if I can help out with that, I'd be happy to. Second thing is, as I had mentioned, I think 2 years ago at a meeting when you were first looking at this, a very close friend of mine who happens to be as part of my fireworks team, is the former Master at Arms on USS Constitution for a few years, and is obviously has expertise in this. And if at any point you would like me to, I'd be more than happy. He would love to come down and help you with any questions you have about the process or anything else. I'd be happy to connect you with him. His name happens to be Keith Gopsel. And he did live in Gloucester for quite a while after he got out of the Navy.
Barry, can you say the name one more time?
Visited Gloucester. Keith
Keith
Gopsel.
with a K?
G-O-P. Yeah.
Yeah.
K. Keith with a K. Gops. G-O-P-S-I-L-L.
Thank you.
Okay, Barry.
And I'll give you all his contact information. And like I said, I think he'd be not only would he love to come down and help you out, but he'd be a great resource for you. Third of all, when you're talking about being able to fire the cannon, It just happens that, at the moment, the city is not doing, scheduling the public gatherings because of the COVID size. But we're hoping, and matter of fact, the Schooner Festival Committee has just scheduled as of today a meeting for later this month, for April 22nd, to talk about things. And it might be a good time if we're able to pull off the Schooner Festival this year. As you know, I have always done during the parade of sail on Sunday of the Labor Day weekend, we've done cannon salutes for the parade of sail. And that might be an ideal time, and it may be late enough, being Labor Day weekend, that we are back to having crowds. And that might be a time to think about doing some firing of the cannon.
Okay, thank you,
Just
Barry.
a suggestion.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Mark, do you wish to make any comments? Other than other business, we're about ready to close and we'll entertain to adjourn. But Mark, do you have anything to say?
I'm all set, Dave.
Okay,
Mr. Chairman, did you ask Donna any comments?
Yes, he did. Thank
Oh,
you.
he did. I'm sorry, I
Yeah.
missed that.
I wouldn't leave out Donna, Fred.
Thank you, David.
I know that.
Okay, any other questions? Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second,
Second?
I'll give the second.
I'm not hearing anybody.
The only other comment might be, we'll leave the next meeting date up in the air for now, if it's okay with everybody.
Yes,
Yep.
all right.
Thank you all. It's nice to see everybody.
All in
For the
favor?
whole year.
All in favor of
All
the,
in favor of
closing the
adjourn?
meeting.
Be roll,
Fred,
Thank
has
you.
to be a roll
Aye.
call.
aye.
Has to be a roll call.
Oh, it has to be a roll call.
Yeah,
Thank you, Barry.
we
Has
need
to be a roll
call again.
Has to be a roll
Okay.
call.
Greg Anderson,
Aye.
He said yes.
David Benjamin,
Yes.
David Dow, yes. Fred Geisel,
Yes.
Michael Hale, Steve Cady,
Yes.
Jamie Marshall,
Yes.
Donna Polizia,
Yes.
Barry Pett.
Yes.
Barry,
Thank
okay,
you.
thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, Mark.
Thanks, Barry.
Good seeing
Thank you.
everyone.
Yeah, nice to
Thank
see
you. Have a good
everybody.
night. Thank
Good
you,
night.
Mark.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.